I think it's absolutely fascinating. I hope it's true. You know, the tagline of the X-Files was, "I want to believe." I am a skeptic, but I would love to be persuaded. And if this actually is evidence of extraterrestrial life, it'll be the biggest news story of all time.
Right. I mean, beyond landing on the moon, it's so sort of earth shattering. And for somebody who sort of lived in this world for the better part of a decade, do you feel you have a greater understanding of it or maybe just a different hope?
I think I do have a greater understanding of it. I think most of us who wrote for the X-Files tended to be much more Agent Scully than Agent Mulder. I think you kind of had to be a bit of a skeptic to write the show because you're always trying to persuade Agent Scully that it was real, right? So you needed that kind of skeptical posture to do it. But I think I was humbled by all the people I met who claimed to have been abducted by aliens or to have seen ghosts or to have experienced other supernatural phenomena. And it wore down my skepticism to the point that I do think there's something to it.
What do you think this means now for the notion of mystery, the notion of science fiction, the notion of what you do for a living? If this story actually pans out, how are we changed?
I think it would change everything in ways that people don't fully appreciate yet. And I think, as you said, I spent, a decade really thinking about this deeply. Because in those days, we did 24 hours a year of a television show. It was a lot. And, to me, it was significant that Agent Scully was a Catholic, somebody, a character of faith. She was a scientist, but she believed in God. Agent Mulder did not. And in a way, his search for aliens was like trying to prove God exists. And there actually was one scene where Scully says, you can't do that. That's what God is. You need to take God on faith. And I think to some degree, for a lot of people, aliens are like trying to prove there's a God. And if you could, that would have profound effects on everything, on morality, religion, ethics, human behavior. It would change our understanding of each other. In some ways, it might bring us closer together, right? Because there'd be this other threat that's not human. We're always looking for the bad guy, and in this case, it wouldn't be other people, it'd be something else out there. So I think it would be the most profound event in human
I
history.
wonder if it will bring the world together or if it will entrench us as enemies who seek to dominate and become the more powerful entity, if it's a country or if it's a continent, given this really existential threat.
Well, it's interesting because I also think part of the way we look at aliens says a lot more about us than about aliens. And I think sometimes, depending on your temperament, you think, well, it's a benevolent God or it's an Old Testament kind of God. And I think people look at aliens the same way. Is it friendly or hostile? I think one thing is clear is that if there is extraterrestrial life, it is superior to us, vastly superior to us, and I think that'll be humbling in the event it's ever proven that it's real.
Humbling is a euphemism. It will be terrifying.
Well, you never know. You never know. I would like to think that it would be benevolent, but I'm betting that we're not going to find out that this is true, at least not in our lifetimes, and that we're going to continue to live in wonder.
Benevolence and humility might just be these small concepts of us mere mortals. I mean, who knows? There may be far more emotion out there that we have no idea about. I have to ask you just again, because you lived in this world and because you've met so many people, do you think the reporting is true?
Look, they've declassified a lot of documents in the last 5 years and videos, whereas before they denied it altogether. So it is true. Unidentified flying objects are a fact. They are unidentified flying objects, and there are things out there that we do not understand. And I don't doubt the sincerity of this intelligence officer that you've interviewed. I don't know that it will be borne out that there actually are alien crafts, like physically in the possession of the government, or alien beings. I find that hard to grasp. But as I say, I would love it to be true, but I doubt it.
When news of this broke, It makes me wonder if the old X-Files crew were secretly texting each other saying, "Are you seeing this? Like, did you reach out to David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson and say, what's your take?"
Every time this happens, I do email Chris Carter or text Chris Carter all the time, and he's he's actively involved in reading and talking to people about this, much more so than I am. So yes, even after all these years, Chris and I have that line open.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.